Pillars. Records keeper.
Good day, stranger.
A taciturn man with greying hair pores over a tome he's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up at you with baggy eyes. Yes, is there something I can pull for you? Looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War. Trying to find out what happened to someone. The man clears his throat. We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in Deerwood who bear ill will towards Red Serens. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees. Perhaps if you were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different. But I have no reason to suspect you'd be any different from the others. Now I'll do that. Intimidation. We've come a long way. Ada, I just need to find out about my brother. I don't even know what side he fought for. You must understand, I have heard many such stories. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you. I don't want to do that. Intimidate him. I'm not gonna do that.
I'm here.
Poem. Play. The Doughty Burglar. The Deerwood Farce, Part 1. Characters in order of appearance: Belmis, the Doughty Burglar; Torful, the man of the house; Clanna, the lady of the house; Perfenda, the maid; It would be an important visitor. Setting: interior, the sitting room of Torful's house. Night, the stage is dark, the door to the room opens and Belmis enters, holding a candle. He walks slowly through the room, picking up items, examining them. The burglar. And replacing them. Presently there is a noise off stage, and Belmis freezes and listens. Torful. Enough of this nonsense. I told you we would be returning early. Clanna. The lady of the house. You said early. You didn't say we would be inexcusably rude. The voices are approaching the door to the sitting room, and Belmis extinguishes that candle and hides behind a chair at the edge of the stage opposite the door. The door opens. Torful entering, followed by Clanna and Perfenda. The maid. Voice even and controlled. Speaking is very important, Clanna. My little cowslip. Iriby is taking this meeting himself. This is unheard of. Iriby an important visitor. Clanna. But Torful. Not another word. Belmis's head appears over the chair during this exchange. He watches the three interact, and when Clanna talks, he is entranced by her. Torful. Perfenda, have all their preparations been made for Iriby's arrival? Yes, sir. The special brandy has been brought from the cellar, and the other refreshment has been prepared as well. Clanna. Other? Torful, don't you dare. Torful. If that's what it takes, Clanna, then that's what I'll do. Now go prepare yourself for Iriby's arrival. We must all look our best. This contract must not fail. All three leave the room, and Belmis stands. Belmis. Who was that vision? Who was that goddess? Who was it that has stolen my heart just as surely as I would steal hers? I must know her. I must meet her. I must have her. But how? Part 2. Belmis stands in front of the drink tray. Belmis picking up a small metal box next to the brandy. What could possibly convince him to give her up? And Belmis opens the box and observes its contents. He looks up, a wicked grin on his face. He closes the box and sets it down. He turns his back, lost in thought. The door flies open and Torful enters. He sees Belmis and stops. Belmis turns at the noise of the door, eyes wide. Torful. What? Belmis immediately interrupting. Torful, my good man! Such a pleasure to finally meet you after so long. Who? Belmis. Irabee! Surely you were expecting me? Did you not get word I would be here tonight? When? I only just arrived now. The weather kept me up, else I would have arrived sooner. How? My friend that let me in told me to wait for you in here. She said she was off to find you. Torful. Irabee, of course. Welcome to my home. So sorry for my manners. I was not expecting you for at least an hour. Belmis is playing Irabee. They shake hands and then Torful starts pouring drinks for them. Belmis. Yes, well, it's just this contract. I'm eager to settle the matter. We both know it must not fail, don't we? Torful stops. But I was told you were set against this. I invited you here to convince you. Belmis. Would you rather I change my mind back? Shall we argue a belabored point, or shall we celebrate our new accord? Torful, laughing. Of course, how stupid of me. Torful holds a glass out to Belmis. To business. Belmis sets the glass down and picks up the box. He opens it and sticks his finger inside. It comes out with a dark paste on it. He reaches towards Torful's mouth. Oh, it's Svev. Drug. Shall we celebrate properly? Torful. Oh no, I never touch Svev. But I knew you were partial to it. By all means, go ahead. Belmis grunts and looks at his finger. He approaches Torful. I must say, this turn of events is quite welcome. I was sure it would take hours to... Thrusting his finger at Torful's mouth. What is that? Turning his head so Belmis's finger passes by his lips without touching. What? Sighing. Oh, nothing. My mistake. I was sure I saw something. Belmis walks around behind Torful and approaches him from the other side. And Torful. I was sure it would take hours to convince you to see things on my side. It does my heart good to... Thrusting his finger at Torful's mouth again. There it is again. What? Where? Belmis, under his breath. Damn. Nothing. I guess I was imagining things. Torful, that must be incredibly potent Svev. I never even heard of it working before application. Be careful now. Trying to get him high in the... Oh, I took it. No. Didn't mean to, still. I was reading it. I put it back. No, I put it back on the shelf. It's fine.
I'm here. Hail, traveler.
Looks still in there. Good.
I shall.
Oh, it's another shelf. Excerpts from the Sermon of Struggle. Read that one. Those lost in the flood. I never expected to see a massacre such as this in my lifetime. I was in my study, trying to pack up important documents for the evacuation, never dreaming the Aderians would act so drastically. It was my wife, Neliok, who first heard the cracking of the levees. We climbed to the roof when the water reached the top of the stairs. My 3 children, Nath, Theobelsa, and Kier, we held. The water reached our chests, and the only thing that kept us from getting swept away before it subsided was holding onto the chimney that we had just repaired. Other families were not so lucky. And when the waters finally subsided, the roads were littered with debris, mud and rotting fish. Half the district had been swallowed by the sea. Bodies floated in the tide along with what was left in the homes. We burned the citizens we found. The poor souls have nobody else to remember them by, so I'll document them here. I'm not sure if they had loved ones who survived the flood, but it is better their names be written down rather than washed away with so much else in this horrific flood. Butcher, Professor, Spearman, Priest, Swordmaster. Oh. It floods back then. The key. Shrine of Maguin. Most bright Maguin, transform us with your flame. Stone figure of a warrior gazes towards her raised hand. It's empty, but the palm and fingers are blackened.
Welcome.
The woman's head is bowed as her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch her glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Maguin, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? Temple? I thought this was a palace. It's both, really. It's the palace from which Duke Avar governs, but it's also a place of honour and worship for Maguin, the goddess who led us to independence and who has always watched over our city. Her smile falters. You seem upset. What's wrong? Her shoulders slump. This is about the fires, isn't it? She puts a hand on his shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. The fires? She sighs. The sacred pyres all around town. You must have seen the statues of the goddess around the city, holding up empty braziers. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now, and people need to see them more than ever these days. I can't light them. So, what does that mean? It's by devotions and prayers that keep them lit, but lately when I try to pray, all I can think about are the hollowborn all over the city, the grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Maguin allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? Juin grunts with disdain. What strength do we gain from adversity, from trial and test? The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful to a whore. A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services, and Maguin is paid and pleasured in sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Maguin's womanly heat. Calling his own god a whore. Okay. And this has shaken your faith. She nods, running her hands through her hair. I believe Maguin may be speaking to me again. She frowns and casts a quick glance in your direction. Lately, I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of colour. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens, even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. And behind the falls is a cave, filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess. I know there's something there, but where it is or how I'd get there. She shakes her head. I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest though, I don't know what I'd do even if I found the place. Juins. Worthless, like so many of Maguin's flock, afraid of her god's tests. If Maguin speaks to her, it is to hasten an end to a hypocrite's life, and this vision is surely a death trap for the weak. What's the significance of the sacred pyres? They symbolize Maguin's power and guidance, and right now the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. She crosses her arms, staring at the statue. Our neighbours in the Valiant Republic see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. I'd like to know more about the temple. Maguin is the most revered goddess among us dear Woodens, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the ducal palace. Her fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths. all of which are important to us. She gestures to the statue. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city. Cinders of Faith. Travel to the cave from Figur's vision. Are you still having visions of the fools? Her voice is low and quiet. Yes, and of the cave and something within. Some small bright ember of faith guarded by a terrible danger. I only wish I could go myself. She turns a guilty gaze on the statue. Relight the fires. Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the animancy hearings. After memories, see a trio of Orlans, bright and gaudy, their instruments weapons as they compete with one another in brutal disharmony. Behind them a troop of performers roll, jump and gesture, teeth flashing with exquisite sharpness as they enact some bizarre pantomime. The smallest, one moment seemingly a child, and the next an old man, thrusts obscenely at the crowd, eyes glazed behind his rictus grin. The crowd jostles uncomfortably at his display, dissatisfaction in their midst. No money is thrown, no praise given as the performers continue their display. The crowd disperses uneasy, and the man-child's grin grows obscene as he watches them go. Crappy play, no one likes. Unsuccessful playwright. Let's get dinner at the Charred Barrel tonight. I can't. The trade agreement with the Fleetbreaker Castle fell through. We need to come up with some revisions by morning. Animancy isn't the problem. It's the solution to all our ills. Being assigned to the embassy in Defiance Bay is an immense honour. Legacy, when will it end? Local politics only matter if they disrupt the flow of trade. Common folk don't appreciate the sacrifices we've made to try and end this. The Republics will more than welcome any of the Defiance Bay's animancies if animancy were to be banned. Defiance Bay will lead the Deerwood into a new era. Passes for Valian cuisine in this city is pathetic. It's imperative that we find a solution to this catastrophe. Business around here took a hit when Stalwart's mines dried up. Mines? We need more reasonable people in Defiance Bay. Quinolin Grapplewind. You see solemn faces, hundreds of them. They stand in silent remembrance, a town officially lamenting the sacrifice of some brave hero. His companions stand to the side, empty. The official tells their story, the saving of the village, the story of the one lost to the trolls in the battle as best he can, but the faces of his friends say far more about the veracity of the speech. Finally, it's over, and the villagers move back to their lives. The adventurers mill about for a time, talking, remembering, before heading back to the inn for the night. They mourn in their own ways. Tears, anger, zveff, broken bottles. The leader of the group stays quiet, gaze inward. Weeks pass and he speaks little, leaving the inn early in the morning and returning late at night, exhausted. Finally, he takes the others to see it. A statue, life-sized, beautiful in its crude design. The villagers mount it in the square as the group leaves, still empty, but a little less broken. The statue smiles at them as they leave. He created this statue in honor of the heroes. Is he one of...
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
Embassy. Balian Embassy. Galvin Regged. Mention of the name of Regged in the Ear Glanfath, and you'll be told stories of a glorious freedom fighter, an Orlan who used his tactical savvy and battle training to protect the Glanfathan from the encroaching evil of the invaders in the Deerwood. Ask someone in the Deerwood about him, and you'll hear angry retellings of the exploits of an underhanded, dirty fighting Orlan who terrorized Deerwooden citizens. This conflict is what legends are built on, and Galvin Regged is the stuff of legends. The Broken Stone War began from a misunderstanding between the Glanfathans who lived in the Deerwood and the Aederan colonists who were moving in. Tensions were already high between the two groups, as the Aederans claimed the land the Glanfathans said they already owned. Add to it the Glanfathans taken and forced into slavery by the Aederans. It was only a matter of time before something snapped and sent the two groups to war. There was the occasional skirmish or fight between isolated groups, but no real conflict until the Broken Stone War. Whether intentional or not, Aederan farmers clearing land for their crops knocked over and destroyed one of the ancient menhirs that dot the countryside. The Glanfathans, who revered the ancient structures in the Deerwood, reacted swiftly and violently, led by a particularly fanatical Fang by the name of Regged. While the war was short-lived and the Glanfathans were ultimately not the victors, Regged and his forces were able to eliminate a significant number of colonists. And after the war ended, Regged was appointed the Galvin, or leader of the Glanfathan tribes. His leadership skills and prowess in battle earned him the respect of all the tribes of Ear Glanfath. Because all the tribes were unified behind him, he was able to move and coordinate their warriors in a way that organized them into such an efficient team. The Aederan colonists lived in fear of his next attack. His name and reputation spread through both lands. Over 2 years following the Broken Stone War, Regged and his forces, using deception, misinformation and straightforward guerrilla tactics, killed hundreds. The remaining earls send word to the Kenying, the king, Aederan king, saying something must be done before more nobility is killed. But Regged continues to terrorize the colonists, and it seems the campaign will never end. That is, until he encountered Edrang Hadret. Who was sent by the king, I think, wasn't he, or something? From the king's... Aederan king. It's like warriors. Galvin Regged.
Well met, friend.
Vincent de Gosti. What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? What do you do here? As the Valian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Deerwood remains strong and profitable. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. Can you tell me more about the Valian Republics? They are rich in all ways, in wealth and style and culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I am here because the song Greta Jukala wishes it. But when my appointment is done, I'll be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. The Songretta Ducala. Leader. House Domenel. What can be said about House Domenel that isn't whispered fearfully in the back room over the dim lit of a dying fire, in fear that the wrong set of ears will hear it? The Domenel history is colourful and violent, exciting and more than a little bloody. The Domenels were a small Adrian family that dealt almost exclusively in textiles. They made a modest living, slowly gaining a reputation for having high-quality product, and this reputation earned them connections, business, social, and sometimes marital, that solidified their position as the premier family of the region. If you wanted access to anyone, the Domenels were the way to do it. Soon every city had a business that was owned, at least in part, by the Domenels. Their power and influence grew until many said the family had more power than even the King of Adir, the king. But with the power came the corruption. One cannot have that level of control and expect to keep it through strictly legal means. Soon rumors were spreading of threats and extortion, though it cannot be proven. The unofficial report is that the Domenels were responsible for the death of Trindig Beanwigger, which left his entire shipping empire in the hands of his wife, Udeli Domenel Beanwigger. Married to a Domenel, but then he had husband killed. Wow. With their hold on the land practically secured, the Domenels no longer stuck to the shadows, brazenly eliminating opponents, manipulating deals, and threatening anyone who might cause them a problem. Because they now dominated the trade route, no one dared oppose them anymore for fear their business would be strangled. And like most empires though, not even theirs could last forever. The end came during the War of Defiance. Unlike most of the land, the Domenels threw in with Adir instead of the Domenels threw in with the Adir instead of Admeth Hadrat, the rebel, where the colonists broke away from Adir, became independent. And after the defeat of the Empire and the destruction wrought on the land during the war, not even the Domenels could rebuild what they had, and having history show them on the wrong side of the war, no one would touch the name. The domain that took years to build crumbled in mere months. Today the Domenels have once again built a name for themselves, proving they are still capable and savvy business people. Rumours about the family still circulate though. Word is members of the family are striving to lift the family from its current obscurity and elevate it to the level of power it once held. I love reading this lore. Here's the current exchange rates and prices, the things being sold in different regions. Trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and a Deerwood and Weirwool collective.
Where there's a pick, there's a way. It's finished.
Oh, nice. Obsidian lamp figurine. Summon 3 shades. Once per rest. This lamp seems to swallow light, showing no reflection upon its surface. It's cold to the touch, and when held to one's ear, a quiet susurrus can be heard. The lamp is sealed with a piece of cork, on which a single rune is inscribed. Susurrus? What is that? I never heard that. Thesaurus. Whispering or rustling. The susurration of the river. Whooshing.
Keeping an eye out.
On here, let's take it. It's endurance as well. All those things endurance right now. Where'd he go? And then the consumables. Oh, we should go buy those rings now from the town. We've got a lot of money now. Like spell slot rings. Oh yeah, more spells. The flag depicts the symbol of the Valian Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars. A ship in 5 stars. Selected correspondences of gift-bringer Aiden. Sing, O ocean waves of Ondra's sorrow, of her unrequited love for the unattainable moon. Sing of the ocean's sorrow, so that we may forget our own. Each day the tides reenact Ondra's longing for the great moon. The waters reach out at high tide, yearning for the heavenly body, only to slump into low tide when the moon proves unattainable. You asked me once why I loved Ondra so dearly. How I could go from a life on dry land to being a devotee to the goddess of the oceans. I sing of the ocean's sorrow so that I may forget my own. It is Ondra's message that speaks to my heart. I have devoted my life to helping others discard painful memories, for that is the gift Ondra gave me. When I lost my young daughter, my wife and I were inconsolable until a gift-bearer offered to take my toddler's toys and cast them into the deepest waters. Truth be told, I and the other gift-bearers I know have never even spoken to Ondra. She is largely silent, and when she does speak, she uses floods and tidal waves instead of words. But we sing of the ocean's sorrow so that others may forget theirs. Ondra's story, the story of desire unanswered, actually matters to people like you and me. Maguin cannot steer you to victory over sadness. Hylia cannot force joy down a crying throat. Only Ondra can give us the strength to persevere when life seems without worth. And that is the answer to your question regarding why I love my goddess so dearly. Ondra, the goddess of the ocean. It's new.
Where there's a pig, there's a finished.
Before you finish saying that, you say, you're done. If you got a lockpick finished. Rogie McRogue's on it. He was worth the hire. Money paid to hire him.
Yes.
Or lockpicking. And traps. Those are high level traps we can do. Keep doing mechanics. Saving the points. Step into the next one. New rogue talent. Proves dirty fighting. What's dirty fighting again? Improves the rogue's skill with devious maneuvers, increasing the percentage of the rogue's hits that are converted to critical hits when using dirty fighting. Whoa, wait, what is that? Passive plus 10% bonus critical hit chance. It's 10% critical hit chance. What? Become invisible. Her battle stuff's good. I was gonna do give him another interrupt as well, should be good. Plus 20% critical hit chance. It's low health enemies, like 10%. Below 10% health. Stiletto and dagger come into different things. Veteran's recovery could be good for him, melee. Plus Outlander's Frenzy, plus 25% attack speed, plus 3 might. Oh my god. That's what I did, but you can't see your own health, endurance, so for a short while. And a bit less armor. It goes crazy and just slaughters them basically. That's awesome. I'll get that eventually. What's 30 fighting? What is that? He has dirty fighting. Oh, whoa, what? His skin's improved? Another 10% critical hit chance, so he already has 10%. What? Hell yeah. Dirty fighting, vicious fighting. Another plus 10% critical hit chance. Oh my god. Holy shit. Rogues are insane. Weak, but getting tanked to aggro the enemy. And the rogue comes up and just goes around and slaughters them.
Well, this would be our Church of Woodica. Dear Woodens. Probably the first thing we burned during the Revolution.
Praise to the exiled queen. May her crown be restored and her justice prevail. Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
That's what these weird people were talking about. A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers, and even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man and robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Who are you?
Lord Ardwellen Rugford III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Werdika's house of worship. I was told to find the Temple of Werdika here.
And so you did. These savage colonists may have burned it down, but worship of the Oathbinder is alive and well. These
Oathbinder?
stairs lead to the main sanctum.
What stairs?
These stairs, of course. The sanctum was always below ground, adjacent to the catacombs, so it wasn't destroyed by the fires.
The ghost gestures to an impassable pile of rubble. Like the rest of the ruin, it seems to have remained untouched for over a century. Tell me where I'd find an entrance to these catacombs.
There are various entrances throughout Defiance Bay, but I dare say the easiest to reach is in Copper Lane. I haven't been to that part of town in ages, but as I recall, it's somewhere near the southern gate.
What are you doing here?
Worshipping Wudika, the exiled queen and Oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my Emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
So the queen that was is Wudika? The exiled queen. The Oathbinder. That's what those weird worshipping cultists were talking about. The queen that was. They mean Wudika. Tell me more about Wudika.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Wudika watches over them all. Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Wudika is also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
They're trying to bring her back or something. You know that you're a ghost, right?
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
Serious, just look at yourself.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
Scanny draws up next to you. Hey, you alright? Looked almost like you'd lost your footing for a minute. Feels that way when I see into the ether. She watches you quietly. You really are a watcher, aren't you? Once in a great many generations, one of my people was born with the ability to speak to souls. Usually such individuals become elders, or a lone set of tracks in the snow. She cocks her head. I would have thought my journey would be easier if I could see what you see, but looking at you, I'm not so sure. Neither am I. Believe it or not, I once would have rejoiced to know I'd be picked to travel far in search of something great, but even these gifts come with a cost, don't they? Forgive me if I was a little skeptical of your abilities before. I can't say I've met a real watcher before. Ada, oh, don't worry about him. He just likes doing that from time to time. Seems to cheer him up, so I just let him. Oh, I love these companion games. These games are so memorable, companions. Another entrance in Copper Lane. We'll go back and buy those rings then. Wondrous gift. You have to fast travel to Brackenbury. Crucible Keep. Crucible Knights. Let's get this guy's armor back. What business brings you to the keep?
Good day, stranger.
Aldmar gives you an appraising eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Justicia Almar. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you've recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights, and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. Looking for something, or just knocking the dirt off your boots? Tell me more about the Crucible Knights. We're the defenders of the Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that. He grins. We were the first organised militia to oppose Adirian rule, and today we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunwood Row. What's a watcher? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built into your soul's past. Aldmar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. Cipher? What's wrong with their ciphers? He shifts his weight and glances at the empty halls. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Hostility's in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is that they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? You're wrong. Aldmar shrugs. We're speaking the truth. Nowadays it seems that's the biggest crime of all. What goes on in the Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armour, as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander's Cliver's in the back, making plans, as usual. Scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building, along with our Master Smith, Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem, if you're the praying type. Golem? What? Need to deal with Heritage Hill. Weiler. The Justicia's gaze flickers over to you briefly before returning to the novitiates gathered in the training area. If this is about the patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to the limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks over at you again. I'm sorry, was there something else you need? Something wrong at Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong is the real question. Whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there, and yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumours about the place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. She shakes her head. I'd just as soon abandon the district, if those monsters should find a way out. I could look into it. She steps back and regards you. To what I've just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? If people are disappearing, someone's got to figure out what's happening to them. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. He quietly looks on at the novitiates. If you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill, or send word to the guards at the gate. Can you tell me more about Heritage Hill? Used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago the residents all went mad, started eating each other, and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now, every novitiate that stands guard there, every one that comes back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are questions for the Animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working, for now. If there's nothing else, I must attend to my duties. What do you do here exactly? I'm in charge of the Keep's novitiates. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathered in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. Farewell, Wyler. Zombies in Heritage Hill. Shrine of Abaddon. 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 Jesus. Shrine to Abaddon. That's not good. It is a record of active patrols and reported crimes in Ondra's gift. The latter far outnumber the former. Crimes are way more than
I'm here.
Steve.
They shall see nothing.
Where there's a pick, there's a way.
The Blacksmith Knights, a short history of the Knights of the Crucible. If the blacksmith fails, the armor fails. If the armor fails, the soldier falls. Orlan Signhood, first guildmaster of the Knights of the Crucible. The Knights of the Crucible have one of the most fascinating and rich histories in all of Eora, currently holding a position as an incredibly influential group in the Deerwood that come from humble beginnings. There may not be a single person in all the Deerwood who knows exactly how much they owe to the Knights. The group has existed for years, long before they even came to be known as Knights. They started as a group of blacksmiths, led by Orlan Signhood, who came together to form a guild. Orlan felt it imperative for the members to unify, sharing their knowledge through the guild in order to keep the skills and techniques they had spent their lives perfecting. He called the guild the Crucible. Oh, is that why there's a giant room just dedicated to blacksmiths and forges? He called the guild the Crucible, insisting that though their work was used for destruction, they should always be remembered as creators. They would be known as the vessel that withstands the fire to deliver new form into the world, forged in the fire and all the stronger for the tribulation. Ulrun, being a veteran of many battles, knew the importance of impeccably made armor and weaponry. He also espoused the necessity for members of the guild to be trained in martial combat. The only true way to make a proper suit of armor is to be the one who must wear it. That's cool. Blacksmiths must wear their own armor. Must be willing to wear their own armor. Ulrun led the guild for years, instituting a policy that any man who wanted to join must not only be a skilled blacksmith, but also take the time to learn how to hold himself in battle. He added a training ground to their guild hall, and there was scarcely a minute of daylight that didn't see members out in the field, honing their fighting technique. and because of this, the guild earned the nickname Knights of the Crucible. They became a de facto military for the Deerwood, an honourable group that many turned to for help. They were known to be fair, ethical, and quick to respond. That's cool. The Knights chose Abaddon as their patron, dedicating their works to his name, and to honour him they incorporated his symbol into their own and wore it on their arms. Many of the Knights took this honour further, regardless of what material a suit of armour was made from. Something on the right arm was made with iron, celebrating Abaddon's moniker. The Iron Arm. Both of these traditions are followed by some of the Knights to this day. The Knights' smithing skill led them to be known throughout the land as their premier artisans of their craft, leading people to call any item of exquisite quality of the Crucible. Their training and dedication truly came into play during the War of Defiance, known locally as Hadrat's Rebellion. Ulrun, knowing the importance winning this war, sent out a call. All able-bodied knights were to join the militia. They quickly proved invaluable to the cause and helped turn the tide of the rebellion. This was particularly true in the Battle of Defiance Bay. Admeth had already been lost in the previous battle, and morale for the Deerwooden militia was failing, and with the help of the Glanfathan astrologers, the Knights were able to rout the Imperial forces and secure victory for the Deerwood. The Imperial forces of the Figurine, the Aedirian Empire. The new Duke, grateful for the help, and knowing that without the Knights the Deerwood never would have survived, made a decree. The Knights would thenceforth be welcomed into the Duke's castle and become his official royal guard. In recent years, the Crucible aspect has fallen by the wayside in favour of Knight. The requirement that the members be proficient in both smithing and martial combat has loosened to the point that anyone who applies is guaranteed entrance, even if they possess little or no smithing experience. This is an allegation that is vehemently denied by the Knights. Book Company Evolve. Not what they once were. Penhelm's affidavit. Oh, this is what we need for that dude's his quest. Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunwood Row, does hereby certify that novitiate A.M. Penhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influences or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dunwood Row and signed by both Penhelm and Curran. Quest updated. Hey, we're not up to nothing.
Let's keep quiet.
Edict of arrest. This edict calls for the arrest of Eorn, whose recent actions have led to the death of a Knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justicia Aldmar. It is signed Commander Cliver. Eorn. Blamed for the death of a knight. Who's Eorn? Development of a Crucible Knight, Part 1, Lower Ranks. In recent years, the Knights of the Crucible has evolved as a group, no longer concentrating solely on blacksmithing or combat training. They've adjusted their focus to help initiates develop their souls as well as their bodies. From initiation, there is a well-defined path to the top of the order. Squire. When a candidate shows sufficient prowess in blacksmithing, or recently at least the drive and potential, is accepted into the order as a squire. Once he is part of the order, training begins immediately. Lessons are divided into two main sections. Body, commanded by the Lord Marshal, and soul, overseen by the Grand Crucilar. At this point in their progression, the only uniform the squire is allowed is a simple cloth uniform displaying the knight's colours. Novitiate. After sufficient training, each squire is given a 3-part test. He must repair a broken piece of armour, he must recite the Canticles of Abaddon from memory, and he must be able to land a blow on a novitiate in combat. If he succeeds at all 3 of these tasks, he is promoted to the position of novitiate, and at this point he is given his first official piece of crucible armour, a brigandine. Like train armour. His training now doubles, as only the most valiant of candidates makes it through to the next level. Justitia and Templars. When a novitiate shows he is ready, decided by his teachers and trainers, he must make a decision. His training and advancement from this point on will focus on one of the 2 disciplines, body or soul. Novitiates that choose body continue military training as a justiciar under the Lord Marshal, and novitiates that choose soul are given clerical training as a Templars under the Grand Crucilar. Justiciar or Templars, the newly appointed, is taken through the ritual of the arm. He is given his plate armour and symbol of Abaddon. He is then taken to the smith's forge, named after Abaddon, and is tasked with forging a sworn nail out of iron. He affixes this nail to his armour under Abaddon's symbol, and will wear it there for the rest of his life, as a Knight of the Crucible. At this point, the knight's training is fixed. If he chose body, that is the path he is on until the end of his days, and if he chose soul, there is no deviating from the course. That is why the choice is only presented after he has been through many months of training. Find Yawn unwanted. Crucible Knights are calling for the arrest of a Norland man named Yawn. Find him. Dunstan.
About the breastplates. I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Cleaver. The dwarf bustles between a sweltering forge fire and a work table. He wipes one muscle-knotted arm across his brow. Oh. Showing the pieces of the blade of the endless paths that I found in the dungeon. I found several fragments of an ancient sword. Do you think you could repair it? Dunstan gives a low whistle. It's a fine blade indeed. He holds one fragment in his rough hands. Looks a Deerin, special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. He hands the shard back to you. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt too. It would be a shame to graft anything else onto it, and besides, it will balance best with all of the original pieces. If you find the rest of it, I'll forge it for you. What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
Tell me more about the Knights.
We were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
Cleaver thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul lineages and connections to the Deerwood's heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again. Other than Dunwood Row, who really knows about any of that, though? The grieving mother's expression as she looks at Dunstan is somewhere between amusement and pity. Both live in a past of their own imagining. What purpose does it serve when so much depends on action now?
What is it? Of course. I'll see it. It's finished.
I'm here.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for it.
Keeping an eye out.
Yes?
Nothing. Nothing suspicious going on in this room. Didn't loot nothing. Here's Penhelm. Hey Penhelm.
Well met.
The young novitiate's armour has recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be this. Are you looking for something? Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally for the Deerwooden independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. Was there anything else? How does someone become a knight? We don't just take anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cleaver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Not what it once used to be, is it? Does the name Ostrich sound familiar? He sniffs. If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the Expedition Hall for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, a lot of them. What's the story between you two? Ostrich has always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. He frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble Aedian nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. That history made the Knights what they are now. You can't just cast it aside. We've outgrown the past. He waves a shining gauntlet. Sometimes you need to move on. Sagani frowns. Outgrown it like an old sealskin coat. You adapt with the time, sure, but that's a bit naive. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down and admires it. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armor that was used in the rebellion. He says your affidavit is a forgery. Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions, but with his pedigree in the night, he folds his arms. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. Bring his affidavit to Curran. Affidavit.
What is it?
Save.
Where there's a
Do-
pick, there's a way. Where there's a pick, there's a way. It's finished. I'll see it. It's finished.
Yes?
I'll see it. It's finished.
I need my phone near my microphone again. 447.
Yes?
Go on in this room, mister.
I shall listen for.
Nothing at all. There was some loot goblin. And he stole off. We ran off with his stuff. I couldn't get him in time. Shrine of Abaddon. Who's Abaddon? Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from the ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as his soul is dedicated to the task. Work hard and work well. Abaddon demands only honest labour and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station, fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at the weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Continue working on your soul, improving yourself and your soul. So you'll carry on over into your next life.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Altar. This is the symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed over a circular gear. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils. Polished. 2 hammers and
We just don't have the manpower.
Commander Cleaver.
Refugees from every corner of the deal. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
Commander Cleaver stands in front of a massive table studying a map. His expression is set in a grim frown. He opens his mouth to say something to one of his men, but he follows the soldier's gaze over his shoulder to you. You're in charge of the Crucible Knights? Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duke. Was there something else I can do for you? Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Halemar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
What's going on in you at Fleetbreaker Castle? Is there any way I can help? I know how to handle myself. It gives you a thin smile. Always refreshing to meet someone who'd rather fix a problem than complain about it. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights, warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience or fear. Golems. Some agitator throws a rock at them. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Vienna lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in Copper Lane. I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. There was a room we can open up there. Vienna lives there. Once you've brought him the research, he can sell you any arms or armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of our equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Tell me more about the Knights of the Crucible. He crosses his hands behind his back. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Deerwood for that matter. We defended the city in Hadrit's day. We've improved our training since then, but Dunwood Row can certify that many of our officers come from good Deerwooden fighting stock. Now, we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. Tell me more about these enterprising families. House Dominoes, namely. Hey. They're one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organization. Their patriarch, Gedmar, has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We've kept on top of him, and he hasn't been too happy about that. Gedmar of House Dominoes. What did the dozens have against you? He snorts. They're demagogues and troublemakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world, not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they have no patience for law and order. Was there something else I can do for you? Goodbye, Commander Cleaver.
Well? A blade in the dark. I'll see it. It's finished.
Yes?
Laying low.
This map shows the environs surrounding Defiance Bay. Flags mark strategic access points to the city. This document estimates the flow of refugees over the past 3 months. The figures grow by the week.
Well? I'll see it. It's finished.
Edict of Arrest. The arrest of Eon. Development of a Crucible Knight, Part 1, lower ranks. Already read that one.
As you wish.
Development of a Crucible Knight, Part 2, senior ranks. Commander and Forge Master. Once a path is chosen, the knight's life is spent training in his preferred discipline. The pomp and formalities that surrounded his life up to this point are all but gone. The training is far more rigorous and there is less ceremony to mark his progress. For most knights, Commander of the Body, Path of the Body, or Forge Master, the Path of the Soul, are further than they will ever advance. The training of a knight at this level, while almost exclusively in the discipline he has chosen, is still rounded out with instruction from the other. A knight is not truly a knight if he does not have a full breadth of knowledge. When he passes from Justicia to Commander, the knight is given a blue cape to wear with his plate armor. When a Templar's rises to the position of Forge Master, he is presented with a white cloak. Marshal and Crucilar. After time spent training, an elite knight that shows true leadership potential and promise is elevated to the next level. A knight of the body becomes a marshal, and a knight of the soul becomes a crucilar. At this point, he is in command of a small group of knights. Commander, Forge Master, and below. He is responsible for the recruitment, initiation, and advancement of new squires. Many knights do not want to advance to this level and beyond because the role becomes less hands-on and more advisory. Marshals are known by their purple capes, while crucilars are distinguished by a gold cloak. Lord Justicia and Grand Templars, Marshal or Crucilar that shows true and effective command over the knights in his keeping, may be offered the position of Lord Justicia or Grand Templars. Path of the Body and Path of the Soul. Truly a command position, a knight that accepts one of these roles will be removed from the front lines. Because of this, it is only the most dedicated leaders that take either of these positions. Lord Marshal and Grand Crucilar. There is not a single knight that oversees the entire group. This responsibility is split between the Lord Marshal of the Path of the Body and the Lord Crucilar, the Path of the Soul. Any knight that advances to this position does so only with the support of the knights as a whole. He must be nominated and selected by a majority of the knights, and once in the position, he is there for life. The Lord Marshal or Lord Crucilar may step down from his post if he so chooses, but that is only to retire from the life of a knight. The stress and responsibility of this position is such that many refuse it, even if they are capable of handling it. Lord Marshals and Crucilars are well known and generally respected throughout the land, not just within the knights.
Yes?
I'm on the trail.
Ooh, okay, cool. In this room, yeah, we know. I help him be initiated. Ada wants to talk.
Strange place for a shrine to Abaddon, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. The only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them all about blacksmithing, and about the revolution, about tradition. Talk about the golem like he was created he created the Crucible Knights in his forge to go win Deerwood's independence. The golem is the name of the founder of that first blacksmith. Then they join, and it turns out all of those knights ever talk about is when we're going to get recognised as a real knighthood. When are we getting our titles in our land? The High Justice wants to be an earl. Says it's Abaddon's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it, saying Abaddon told him so. Seems like some members do still take their ideals seriously though. You see it with the older knights, some of them. They were taught differently. I feel for them, seeing all that slowly wearing away around them, with nothing to be done because the wrong people are in charge. Shame they don't have better people leading them. Are you suggesting something? It'd be so cool if he starts to lead them or something.
What?
Yes?
So, we done here? I gotta bring stuff back. I gotta clear out Heritage Hill, find the yawn. Oof. Let's go back to Copper Lane. I want to buy those spell slot rings. So let's go back to the market. And we've got 33k now. A bunch more stuff I stole from the Crucible Knights to sell.
Gods keep you.
Seal Telda's ring of wizardry. Plus 2 level 2 spells and 1 level 4. Damn. 8,000. Hell yeah. And Seal of Faith. Priest level plus 1 level 1 spell, 1 level 2, 1 level 3. Yeah. I've got 2 rings already. Ring of Deflection. Gorn's Pledge. Pretty good. Give the Ring of Protection to someone else. Can you have 2? Does that stack? It does. Deflection though. Protection. And the priest gets the other ring.
Hmm?
I can't even cast level 4 spells yet.
Yes?
Wait, let's
Welcome.
sell stuff. Anything else?
Indeed.
Nice. We go to Heritage Hill then. We'll do some fighting. Let's do some fighting. Kill some zombies. How do I get to the catacombs? Oh, I should go to the Scrivener's dormitory to talk to that lady. Something happened to her. Find Vienna.
Good day to you.
Looking for Vienna. I like Vienna. She's always talking about metal men, which is strange since I'm pretty sure she doesn't even eat snowcap. His brow wrinkles. I don't talk about metal men either. I do eat snowcap. Huh. Sky's high again. Anyway, she's not here right now. Flew away to Ondra's gift to meet her friend Bessia. No, Klesia. Yes, Klesia. Klesia is a friend she's gone to meet. In Ondra's gift, in a house, not a boat. North house, empty house. Ondra's gift has a lot of boats. We should go rowing sometime. Okay. Wait, where's Ondra's gift? Is that in the city? In some other place? What is Ondra's gift again? Is that a place here? Oh, catacombs. I can enter there. Let's go down there and do some fight some undead. Find the soul of this old man's wife, soul, spirit. Do some fighting. Skinflint. Memories. See an older dwarf counting his coins behind a grimy shop window, hair limp with grease and sweat, a sneer playing around the edges of his pinched mouth. The bargains of the day lie scattered across the table, from tarnished, tawdry jewellery to an acid-encrusted dagger lying precariously near the edge. His half nose twitches in anticipation as a customer enters. A dishevelled young noble, once white doublet stained with a life gone wrong. Eyes dart behind him, searching for pursuit, before he dumps the contents of his Hessian bag on the table. The dwarf leans forward, fingers flicking through the silverware and assorted goblets. He shakes his head emphatically, sneer fully settled, shoving the items back at the man. The man pleads, begs, eyes rolling panicked in their sockets, asking for something, anything, a few silvers. The dwarf leers and tosses 3 copper pans on the table. Desperate, the young noble tears a signet ring from his finger, to the dwarf's ill-concealed delight. A few more coins go into the pile, and the defeated man, swearing stitches under his breath, exits the shop. The venerable dwarf grins at his good fortune, picking food out of his two sharp teeth as he examines his haul. Pickpocketing. Wait, the noble came to him. Wait, what? The assassin or something? I'm not sure. Don't understand. Takes for a job. On the weekend. We get ticks for a job before, and on the weekend. Dead initiate. As you approach the dead man, you can feel the faint traces of his soul lingering, a stunned uncertainty holding it in place. When you near, without warning, the soul hurries toward you, as though you were a solitary light in the dark gloam of this place, come to usher it away. Its essence invades your consciousness. You're in a different body now, walking deeper into the catacombs, cloaked in a dark robe with a mask pulled over your face. You're following a familiar path along the canal, heading to a room built around a statue of a figure wearing a robe much like yours. Others await, clothed in hoods and shadows. Ahead is another figure dressed like you, traveling in the same direction. You don't know his name, and that's how it's supposed to be. Out of the darkness, something monstrous grabs the other figure. You turn to flee, but find yourself face to face with a troll. The panic pounding through your brain is interrupted by razor-edged teeth and claws. You snap yourself out of the dead man's memory. The corpse lies on the damp and grimy ground. His hood and mask are missing, and his clothes are shredded. There are trolls down here. Do a proper save. These are not ogres. Fucking hell, ogres. Slaughtered. Oh, there's one.
Hey.
Ooze is down here as well. Don't see this yet, so let's not aggro them.
Hey.
Charm the ooze. Something I want to charm. Dev stuff. Way. Kind to animals. Don't panic. The poems. More dev stuff. There's secret
Lay
stuff.
in the dark.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
I'm not bothered stealthing and revealing stuff anymore.
I see something.
Stalker's Talk? Stalker's Link bonus? What's this? Only usable by Ranger? Modify Stalker's Link. Wait, what? What is that? She's a Ranger, isn't she? What's that ability?
Ready, Watcher.
Stalker's Link. Huh? Stalker's Link ability. Passive plus 10 accuracy when attacking the same target as your animal companion. Ah. She's got no amulet yet. Nice. Wait, how does it modify it? What? Wait. Let's see how it modifies it. What? Oh, plus 20% damage against that enemy as well for 3 seconds. What? Increased damage against them.
Yes?
I didn't see it on the item. Kind of weird. Nice though.
I see something.
I bothered stealthing to reveal stuff. Thank God they changed that in the second game. I'm just gonna ignore that hidden stuff.
Hey.
Can't be bothered. Ooze plasma.
Hey.
Beer on use? What? I'm sure I want that ooze contaminated beer. Skeletal fighter? So this is supposed to do a lot of damage against undead now. Let's try it. What damage did that do? Are you doing nothing? What? I thought I was supposed to... I need vessels. Yeah, they count as vessels. Don't do any damage though.
Yes?
Just focus with my weapon. 526.
Hmm?
Hey.
Oh shit, a bunch.
I shall.
Bit of a beating there. Corpse.
And what does the flame reveal?
I'm wounded.
Not as much. Dead body is like, is there a trap? Yes, there is. Too late.
Of course.
Keeping an eye out.
Yes. I see something.
Hmm?
Damn traps.
What is it? There's something ahead.
Helig of Thane. A lone figure in tattered robes shuffles across the chamber, muttering under his breath. As you approach, the figure halts and swivels its head towards you. Its haggard visage is a labyrinth of wrinkles and sores overgrown by a moss-like beard. What's this? Who disturbs Helig's work? His voice rattles and gurgles like that of a drowning man. You're Helig? Dalton sent me to look for Ronya. He leans back and bursts into raucous laughter. His threadbare robes drift apart, revealing an amulet and a ragged wound running from chest to throat. It spatters a black, viscous fluid on the floor with every cackle. That old fool is still alive. I do hope he still doesn't bear a grudge for that incident. It was so very long ago. This was his friend, Dalton's friend. Believed he died. What happened to you? What? This? He points a gnarled thumb at the wound. Huh, a long story. I was one of the first animancers in the Deerwood. Practiced necromancy too, which is what put Dalton and his Northwatch Rangers on my trail. That is who he hunted. He cackles, making a wet burbling sound. Dalton believes that Ronya is in the catacombs. He seems to restrain another bolt of chuckling. Oh, you could say that. If you were to retrieve my grimoire from Modred, I'll let you in on the secret. The hell? If I just beat the secret out of you? Smirks. You could try, then you'll just end up dead. Right, what do you need me to do? When animancy started gaining popularity, I came to Defiance Bay in hopes of finding a place where my research would meet more acceptance. Worked at the Brackenbury Sanitarium for a few months when I met Modred. He spits a glob of black blood on the floor. Let's just say Modred and I didn't see eye to eye. Got so bad we were threatening to kill each other on a daily basis. Obviously that bastard made good on his threat. He runs a jagged fingernail along his oozing wound. Sank a dagger into my chest while I was sleeping and dumped my body in the catacombs. And you used animancy to save yourself. Oh no, Helig waves a half-rotted hand. This is magic. It took a great deal of rather timely preparation, I must say. Even so, it merely anchored my soul to this decaying husk. Nothing like the life that was stolen from me. Helig lets out a rattling sigh. And yet you see what a little within magic can do. My mind is my own, my memory is fresh, and my work can continue. And Modred keeps all that is precious to him in a trunk in his laboratory, just as he stole my grimoire. He offers you a key with a claw-like hand. On your way to Brackenbury Sanitarium, then, bring me my grimoire and my revenge, and you can have your Ronya. He chokes on a burbling chuckle. What are you doing down here, then? Research. A hodgepodge of animancy and necromancy. I have peace and quiet, as well as an abundant supply of subjects. Are those creatures behind you? Just a few personal projects. Sorry souls stuck in their mortal shells. Their flesh is as dead as mine, though their minds are not as well maintained. They flock to me like worms to drakes. They're not half as intelligent, but he watches as one stumbles into a desk. They serve for amusement. Revenants. Tarnished locket. Notes on various animatic procedures and rites of necromancy. This creature's neck juts sideways at an unnatural angle, and there are rope burns at its throat and wrists. It suffers occasional spasms as it moves around the room. Hello? The creature does not seem to hear you. The left side of this creature's skull has been caved in. Its burial shroud has since tangled about its torso and neck. It stares blankly forward, mindless of your presence. After a few moments, the creature suddenly turns its head towards you, makes a low wheezing sound, and reaches towards the locket you carry. Is this yours? The creature takes the locket loosely between its broken, half-rotted fingers, wheezes out another reeking gust of air, and then goes still once more. Helig, be useless now, till it drops the damn thing again. No sense in pining after things long lost, I say. But then, it has lost half its mind, eh? Poke the creature in the head. Get a grotesque squishing noise for your efforts, and the creature does not respond. Helig, stop that. Leave those sorry wretches for menial chores. This creature appears to have suffered horrific burns. Its skin is blackened and its limbs are melted and fused. It plods stubbornly across the room. Shove the creature. The creature's skin is unpleasantly yielding. It rocks slightly on its feet, then continues on its path. Stop that! I need those poor wretches for menial tasks. Summons undead to do his chores. Let's be right back.
Of course.
robot. Not now. 5:30. Yeah, 5:30. It's alright, robot. It's all clean already.
A blade in the dark. It's finished. It's finished. It's finished.
Nice. And XP.
I'm here.
Slow and silent.
Okay then. Let's go talk to this Modred as well. More death stuff. What's that? Temple of Woodica? Oh, it goes down into that temple. Nice. The main quest though, should we come back to that?
Hey.
Fighting these narrow areas is a breach like that is annoying.
I'll take a look.
How many people worked on this project? Are these not just... These are backers as well? Or are these all just all the backers? See, there was 77,000. Yawn! Ah! They'll put a hit out for a bounty. This small Orlan man appears to have pulled together some crates and scraps of cloth to make a rather sorry-looking little camp. The thick fur on his limbs is matted, his clothing smeared with blackening grime. He looks startled as you enter, his eyes widening in alarm.
Hail, traveler.
For a moment, however, he smiles weakly. Hello there! Wasn't expecting any visitors down in these parts. Glances around the dim room. Have you seen a woman named Rona? Eorn shakes his head. Sorry, I don't know anyone by that name. I know I'm not the only one down here, however. I hear voices now and then, from across the canal. Sounds like they're coming from the northwest. Well, I say that. I'm looking for someone's first thing to help calm him down. I'm not looking for him, someone else. Eorn nods in greeting. Anything else I can do for you? What are you doing down here? He grimaces. I've been a little down on my luck lately. Didn't have anywhere to stay, so I thought I'd come down here. Nobody pokes around in the catacombs much. Not until you, anyway. Fine, let's talk about something else then. Eorn releases the breath he was holding. Yes, let's. Can you tell me about these catacombs? Eorn smiles wryly. Haven't explored too much of it, to be honest. Got lucky finding this little corner of it. But let me think. Well, the canal there, that's Grogan's Canal. Grogan was the dwarf that planned the whole thing. It runs up through to Ondra's gift. Spills out into the sea there. Yeah. Was that one of the other districts? Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a lot of bones. There's the Warrens, for people that couldn't afford better. But it's all flooded now. The fancier folks, they have their own resting places down here. Drier places. The Dukes of the Deerwood are down here, actually, if you want to pay your respects. Save. Crucible Knights have put a heavy price on your head, Eorn. Eorn's mouth falls open, his eyes widen. After a few moments he turns away, his brows furrowed. I thought they'd want to keep things quiet at least. I didn't think they would. Eorn sighs heavily. Very well, it's true. I've been hiding from the knights down here. But it wasn't what you think. He ducks his head. It was an accident. It's been hard for me here in Defiance Bay. I suppose I thought if I got involved in city business, if I made the right friends, it would get easy in time. And it did, really. I made a name for myself, a place. People actually listen to me when I talk. Well, they used to. People can get very passionate about these things. We were discussing, I think it was shipping agreements, of all the things to fight over. This one night, this man, he got very angry. I think maybe he'd had a little too much at the inn. Eorn pauses. I guess he didn't like an Orlan talking back at him. I struck him. He came towards me and I hit him, and he went over like a tree. I guess he struck his head on the way down. Eorn lowers his gaze and shrugs helplessly. It turns out he was a knight. The Crucible Knights won't care how it happened. They just want me gone. They won't let me live long enough to see the rope. Please, he looks at you with a pleading expression. I just want to get out of the city. The second I can get money for passage, I won't trouble anyone again. I swear it. I'll live quietly. But you can't, please. You can't tell them I'm here. Give him 300 copper. I've got loads. Here, this should be enough to buy your passage out of Defiance Bay. Crucible Knights don't even give you a trial or anything. No. Let's get out of here. Eorn stares at you in disbelief. But this is... His face twists as he struggles for words. You said you were a kind soul, but I wouldn't have imagined. This will see me out of the city, and well away. I'm not sure I could ever thank you enough. But here, take this. I hope it's some use to you on your journey. Unique item, rabbit fur gloves. You have my lasting gratitude, friend. I should get ready. Task unwanted. Complete. Found him and let him go. Taxes collected. Lost 250 copper to bandits. We earned 437. What? Oh, the latest ones are at the top. Oh, I'll keep going down to the bottom. Wages paid 250. What is this about losing a ton of copper to bandits? We actually earn money over time from our stronghold as well, which is awesome. What? Ravius return completed that quest. Got some items. Money, items, remembrance of life's warmth. The spoils await in the Great Hall treasury chest. Where? Oh, I have to go pick it up. It's in the treasury chest. That's cool. Taxes collected, lost loads of money to bandits. The fuck? Warden's Lodge, or... Son of a... Finished in 2 hours, the south wall, and then build the west wall. queen that was and still is. Dear sisters, do you still remember your first deliverance? When you strangled your first wrongdoer, did you see the moment when life became death? Could you see the instance when your victim realized that Woodacre forgets nothing? When Woodacre takes back her throne, will you face her with pride, knowing you have held to your oaths, or will you be amongst the word breakers? Woodacre teaches vengeance in memory, and while she is in exile, we must be her eyes and ears, and that let no injustice slip from record. We must be the clenched fist that silences the lying breath. When Woodacre takes back her throne, all of the injustices that have slipped through the cracks of history will be righted. The villains hiding in plain sight amongst the innocent will feel the burned queen's choking grasp. Pray that you live to see the day when you will join our queen in this cleansing of the wicked. But know, my sisters, that we must be ready to see the end of our days without the return of our queen. For she will take back her throne, but it may be our daughters that serve the restored court. We must continue to live as we have always lived, hated by the other faiths, even though we place justice above our own well-being. At least the Empire of Adir still holds our creed in proper esteem. It is a proper sign of respect that, by imperial custom, our clergy must oversee a contract for it to be legally binding. Or who else understands the value of remembering one's oaths than Woodacre's faithful? And let us not count our current blessings, but we still enjoy the support of the Paladin Order of the Steel Garrote. They too understand that society is built and broken by the oaths and rules of its people. The Paladin Order of the Steel Garrote. First I've heard of them. When Woodacre takes back her throne, my family will know that I was right to commit my life to the exiled queen. When Woodacre takes back her throne, the Strangler will stop being a story told to frighten her daughters, but a hero woven into parables that teach our children justice. When Woodacre takes back her throne, she will bring her flawless memory with her. Every transgression, every crime, and every injustice will be revealed. When Woodacre takes back her throne, even gods won't be spared their due retribution. Queen, the goddess of vengeance in memory. The other gods don't like her, and I don't know, exiled her or something? And there's this organization that seems like they're responsible for the Hollowborn that seems like they might worship her as well. We've got lots of camping supplies. A few more minutes and we'll have a break.
Where there's a pick, there's a way. There's a
Oh shit.
pick, there's a...
Get stuck in the door. What's that?
Yes. Indeed.
Whoa, what the? Oh, it's those things again. Dank spores. Dank plants. Produce concentrated dankness. Primordial. Oh shit. Spawlings, oh shit. There's a ton of enemies, we aggroed.
Yes.
Try summoning some of these. Oh yeah, Sunbeam as well, it's got now. Speed boosting. Let's try summoning some stuff. Keep a rest. He charmed the troll by the other troll. That's pretty cool. Okay, I think we come now. You knock down a troll. Well, what did they do to him? Confusion, 7 seconds. Oh no, more trolls coming. A doggo. Yeah, her chimes. Yeah, they got a bit of regen. 3 health. Oh, my crossbow upgraded. Nice. What do you get? 15% chance to stun on a hit as well as the prone. Damn. Interrupt the target. Cause stun 25 times to unlock the next level. Wow. These soulbound weapons are awesome.
Indeed.
Potion of Iron Skin is 8 DR until hit.
I'm here. Keeping an eye out.
Yes.
The traps. No, it's just them.
Hey.
That sound, is that the dragon? Is that the spore plant thing?
It's not working!
Gonna harvest all your dankness. There's a room back here. Yeah, I'm going here. Explore this, another break. More devs, more backers stuff. Just devs or backers. Oh, give me around the corner, mister.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Enemies down.
I'm here.
Hey.
Yes?
So we can go to this Temple of Whitaker from here. Temple has been burned to the ground. Okay then, let's explore this place. Go down there. South curtain wall construction completed. Nice. Build the other wall. All the security stuff first.
I'm here.
Hey.
Whoa, greater black ooze. One big ooze.
Yes?
Shadow!
Face phantom foe. 2-1. Potion of Eldritch Aim, plus 15 accuracy. A lot of stuff. Should give that to.
Hmm?
Is that the whole place? I believe so. The Temple of Whitaker stuff is the main quest. Find a way into the Temple of Whitaker, yeah. But let's just leave that for a while. I've got loads of other quests to do first. Do all those things first. But we'll stop there for a bit. Oof. I think we'll get some tweet. A bit of a break, do a bit of moving stuff. And come back later more. Oof. Play more again. XP like. Ooh, we should level up to level 7. Maybe tonight as well. What else have we got now? Let's see how many spell slots we've got. Just have to rest and then count more.
Yes?
Can't like see before, like spells out of 0 out of nothing.
Hey.
Like, Wait, let's just save there. Get some food. I'll come back. In there. Right, stop there.